Hello and welcome to Called Bank Sports. Tonight, the Utah Jazz defeated the Houston Rockets 122-91, going to Houston and taking care of business just like they should. The Knicks also took down the Chicago Bulls, and Memphis beat Golden State in overtime. So the Utah Jazz are the lone undefeated team in the NBA, sitting atop the standings at 4-0. They'll Saturday they will play the Chicago Bulls. So that loss tonight broke up the matchup that would have been a matchup of two of the NBA's undefeated teams. But that's not just, but the Jazz are also going to be playing the Milwaukee Bucks this Sunday night. So the Jazz have a gauntlet of back-to-backs right there. So for all of you who have wanted to see more Jared Butler minutes, we're going to get that probably this Sunday, I would assume, against the Bucks, assuming that Mike Conley starts Saturday and then Joe Ingles starts Sunday, taking those minutes from Mike, and then Jared Butler probably gets around 20 to 26 minutes coming off the bench. I'm super excited to see how that goes. Personally, I would prefer to see Mike Conley sit the Bulls game on Saturday and play in Milwaukee, but I don't think Mike has ever sat the front end of a back-to-back. I believe he's always played the front end and then sat the back end. So that's my prediction there. The Utah Jazz had some pretty poor shooting tonight from three-point land. They were 16 of 46, but they did assist on 24 of their 41 field goals, so over 50%. So absolutely love the passing. A lot of their field goal misses from three came really from Jordan Clarkson, who had 8 of them. He shot 3. He took 11 shots, 11 3-point attempts, and made 3 of them. Joe Ingles had a decent night, going 4 of 9. Bojan was a bit on the lower end, 2 of 6. Mike was 1 for 5, and Donovan Mitchell was about where you'd expect him to be at 2 of 5. So overall, Utah Jazz have been struggling from 3 to start the season, which is a bit concerning considering who you look at, who they've been playing. But it is the beginning of the season when teams are giving it their best, even though like Oklahoma City, and Houston are towards the end of the season more likely than not going to be tanking. They don't know how bad they are yet. Just tell that to Oklahoma City, who, if it were the end of the season, would not have came back from down 25 against the Lakers. But they are playing with a lot more heart right now, so they did. But the Jazz did what they needed to against the two worst teams they've played so far in Houston and in Oklahoma City. The Kings, I personally don't think are going to make the playoffs. They're going to push hard for the play-in, but I do think they'll fall short. As much as I like Luke Walton, just really haven't seen him really deliver when it comes to being a head coach and to getting the most out of his teams. So, and then the Jazz played Denver. Obviously, they beat them, but that was barely taking a lead into the fourth quarter. And really because they only had to play Jokic for the first 2 quarters, and they didn't have to play Jamal Murray at all since he's still out recovering from his injury and will be for the majority of the season. So really, when you look at it, only 2 of the 16 quarters that the Jazz have played have been against solid NBA talent. And I really don't want to take a shot at the Kings like that, but frankly, I just feel like the Jazz underperformed in that game overall as a whole. So really looking at it, the Jazz are where they should be at 4-0, but probably going to pick up their first loss this weekend and are really just taking advantage of having the best continuity in the NBA of any of the top teams. And also, having one of the easier schedules. So yes, this is what I want to see the Jazz doing. I want to see them taking care of business, but there's definitely still a lot I want to see as they start playing more solid talent. There were 20 turnovers tonight. And again, if you take a look at the stats and go look and see who got the turnovers, you have 3, 5, 7 coming off the bench and 9 coming from the starters. So when you look at it, it's not even like you can blame the turnovers on Jared Butler, and Trent Forrest and Pascal getting more minutes than you'd expect them to. The Jazz are still struggling with turnovers. It really hurt them last year against the Clippers, and is something that they need to continue working on, especially when they're struggling from the line. Jared Butler, talked about him a bit. He saw, I believe, a season high 14 minutes tonight, and he'll see more over the weekend with Mike Conley sitting. Like I mentioned earlier, he was able to get his first, NBA points tonight off a free throw, and then also got his first NBA basket off a 3-point shot. So he's definitely, not having a Donovan Mitchell type rookie year. And that's not to be expected. He's not seeing enough time to really get into rhythm, and it's going to take some time. And most rookies don't have Donovan Mitchell level years. So I'm seeing what I expected to see from Butler so far, and I'm excited to see where it goes in the future. But, and we're going to see more of that this weekend. And my last big takeaway for this game was Hassan Whiteside having a pretty good game in the 17 minutes that he played. Now, obviously, the Jazz have played a lot of lower level NBA talent to start off the season, but he currently has been in the positive in every game this season. And that's really what the Jazz need. As much as I love Derek Favors, he was frequently in the negative, and that major drop off between him and Gobert on the court really caused the Jazz to hurt in their bench minutes. So with Hassan Whiteside coming in and currently playing pretty solidly, that does set up the Jazz for a lot more success down the line this season. And we are going to see what he's made of, playing the Bulls this Saturday and playing the Bucks on Sunday. I really think this weekend gauntlet the Jazz have is going to show us a lot about who they are and what they're going to be able to do. I do believe that they're going to fight for the top seed, and I did pick them to win the West in the preseason. So it's going to be an exciting beginning of the season. It's nice to see the Jazz not get off to a slow start. Some of their players are having off and on games, but really in the end, all that matters right now is picking up the W's. And the Jazz have been very successful with that. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please comment what you think about, how you think about the Jazz. Please share and follow us wherever you're watching. We really appreciate you tuning in, and thank you for bearing with us as we get back in the rhythm. I know this was a bit rusty, but I'm super excited for this season. So have a great rest of your day, and see you guys on Saturday.